Now we're being joined on News Across Nigeria by an education consultant, Bayami Fawemi, and he joins us from Maryland, Lagos. Great to have you on the program.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon.
All right, so what first comes to mind, when you think of this move to give universities the freedom to set a cutoff mark for intending students?
I mean, quite a lot of things come to mind. It's like a mixed bag. One, there's a part of the fact that this supports university autonomy by laws. Universities are supposed to be autonomous, and also by the laws setting up our universities. Universities are supposed to determine admission requirements. Actually, that's the role of the University Senate. So this policy seems to reinforce it in a way. But at the same time, one of the things that also comes to your mind immediately is the fact that you ask yourself that basic questions. What are the risks and the challenges we have that? Do we have an advantage going this route, or are we likely to have a loss? My concern is with the fact that if you don't reinforce a minimum, then people will do what they like. Let's remember that in the last 3 or 4 years, we have had some minimum set. In spite of that, people went below the minimum. Actually, we had a particular year that we had over 200,000 illegal admission in Nigeria. So you ask yourself, with a minimum set mark, you had as much as 200,000 illegal admission. What will happen now that there is no minimum? That's my bigger concern. That we may just have taken away standards completely from our system.
Right. And do you think this will create, competition between private and public universities, or would there be a wide gap here?
So what is going to happen is that we are going to go into a market for, so it's like if you watch football, EPL and transfer season, we are getting into the transfer season now. And with the fact that JAMB refused to allow a clear thing that is minimum for schools, what has happened is that anybody can bid for whatever they like. Now, so you look at our context in Nigeria, and it's very important for us to put that at the back of our mind. In Nigeria, we have 2 categories of schools, the private and the public schools. Also remember that JAMB's course is used for over 600 institutions. So it's not just universities, it's over 600 institutions, about 1.9, 2 million, 1.8. JAMB keeps bringing these figures, wrote the exam. So the question you have is that all those over 600 institutions are in the market for those 1-point-something million candidates. Now that a school knows that it can set its cutoff mark, what is then guy try to do is that, hey, I'm going to fix my cutoff mark in such a way that I'll be able to get students. Now, which schools get an advantage? The private university will not get an advantage, reason being that they are fee-charging institutions. So what they will likely do, remember, they are set up to get a profit or to minimize losses, as the case may be. So what will likely happen is that many of those private universities will have actually to trade off quality students for more students. So for example, based on data that we have from JAMB in the last 5 years, the most applied to universities, the top 10 most applied to public universities are all, the top 10 most applied universities are all public universities. No private university made the top 10. University of Ilorin has been the consistent #1, and with excess of 70,000 applicants on average in the last couple of years.
Right.
Now, so when you start from that, now you at the bottom of that is the fact that you have the private universities. They have 2 major disadvantages. One, they are more recent, so they are not as established as the older school. 2, they are fee paying, so many people can't afford them. So what is going to happen is that you need to attract students. Then what they will need to do is to reduce the cutoff mark and get more people to come on board.
All right, Mr. Bayami Fawemi, thank you so much for joining us on the program. We'll see how the transfer season goes.
Yes, and the signing and between PSG and Man U for Messi, it could be bad. The unfortunate thing is that anybody will get to those schools, and some of them will eventually go and become doctors and engineers, building my houses or your house.
Exactly. That's all right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us. Do have enjoy your day. Thank you.
Thank you.